4 days ago, the news reported on an outbreak of a virus in the northeastern part of the country. From all reports, it causes, quote, an inability to display discernible signs of life other than beleaguered motor functions, end quote. So, I figured this was the best time to start that podcast I was meant to do. This is Still Life with Zombies. Hello, and welcome to Still Life with Zombies. I'm not set on that music. It's public domain. I'm not sure. If this keeps going in a bad direction, then I'm not sure if YouTube would care if I used copyrighted music. You know? I am Tad Stitchman, coming to you from my apartment in Brooklyn, New York. So, yeah. That was how it was originally reported on day one. An inability to display discernible signs of life other than beleaguered motor functions. And I thought, well, that's not good. That sounds kind of like zombies. But however, it hasn't been, no one in the media or the government is calling it that. The media is still calling it the outbreak, and the government's official stance is that it's a flu strain. And I maybe would have bought into that, the flu strain thing, at least on day one, but on day two, they started talking about how the infection spread through bodily fluids, and then from some independent news sources like TYT, they got more specific and reported on people getting bitten and having the virus transmitted. And yeah, that just sounds like zombies. When I think of zombies, that's what I think of. I think of people getting bitten or eaten or whatever, making more biting, and then those are zombies. Boom. Problem identified. Let's move on from there. So yeah, it's day 4. NYC has been on lockdown for 2 days because it was really getting bad here. I mean, there's so many people here all crammed together. Obviously, it was a move they had to make, and I think they wanted to spend more time doing some research, and that's fine, but it really was accelerating. So then they just started shooting infected people as one might do with zombies, the thing they're not calling it. It's this whole thing, I don't know. People started rushing the grocery stores and buying up all the toilet paper and soup and ice cream for whatever reason. I mean, I did pretty much the same thing, except I gave up on trying to get into one of the 3 grocery stores in my neighborhood. I now have a ridiculous amount of canned tuna and ramen noodles in my cupboard, all from Rite Aid. I also have a lot of rice because it's cheaper when you buy a lot, and stir fry is pretty much the easiest thing that I know how to cook. Anyway, people there at the Rite Aid were more inclined to get prescriptions filled, but I did manage to snag some toilet paper as well. There was a sale happening, so 2 for 1 on those big 12 packs of Scott, which according to one employee was supposed to have been taken down, but I was not having it. I mean, it's not my fault that they missed a sign, and I have one of those little loyalty cards, and that's what it's for. If I wasn't a member, then no, obviously I don't get to take advantage of the sale, but I do, so it was just a pointless argument. I mean, I was already frustrated to begin with. Just come on. Also, apologies to anyone who freaks out because I'm using the word zombie. I know that it's not the officially designated definition, whatever, and the term walkers is more likely to trend on social media, and I get that, but when I was growing up, that's what we called them. Not that it happened. It was just a movie thing. They were zombies. That was it. It was a simpler time back then when zombies were only in movies. So we still have power and water, and that's mainly because the NYPD and the National Guard were ordered to protect those companies, as well as what they're calling essential businesses, like grocery stores and places like hospitals, and big chains are still open, like Best Buy and Kmart. Barnes and Noble is still open, and that's fine, I guess, if you need a book. For the record, though, those books about what to do in case of a zombie outbreak, yeah, those are in the humor section for a reason. News places are still open. They're also being protected. And when I say that, I mean TV news organizations like NBC and Fox are being looked after. Newspapers, I mean, they're committed, but it doesn't look good. It really doesn't. They should just commit to the website and stay home. Seriously. And TV people, yeah, maybe you don't need to put field reporters out there. I mean, I thought it was pretty bad when you had those guys report on hurricanes outside while the hurricane was happening. We know there's a hurricane happening. Sandy was a bad time. We get it. We can look outside and see it happening. We don't need you in it to get that. I mean, can you build like I don't know, one of those, you know how people buy those plastic balls that you can put hamsters in so they can run around? Let's do that for our TV reporters. Let's put them in a big safe ball and they can talk all they want about the zombie outbreak from inside of that. I'm not sure how it would work for the cameraman, but honestly, everybody uses their phones to record nowadays, so why not do something like that? And all of this sounds stupid, but so does reporting live in the middle of a feeding frenzy. Or whatever. No one's calling it that. No one's calling it a feeding frenzy. That was just me saying a thing that is kinda happening, but frenzy is a bit fast, I guess. Frenzy implies speed. Frenzy is a word that is not completely accurate. More like a slow digestion. No, that's worse. I don't know what it is. I don't have the metaphor for it. Feel free to leave comments about what metaphor would be more apt. I promise I will read all the comments because I need something to do. So my area is pretty okay for the most part. A lot of the outbreak happened in parts of Queens and then bled into Manhattan, where it was weird for a while because no one really knew what to do. And I think a lot of people just don't watch the news as much. So people were still shopping at Macy's and skateboarding in Washington Park. And I don't want to say that they were doing the whole "it can't happen to me" thing, but man, you don't see breaking news clips on YouTube pop up? I do. That's a thing. So yeah, there were still crowds, and that's what made the outbreak become so much worse. So yeah, why not create a podcast since we still have power? It's something I had been wanting to do for a long time. I was unsure what kind of podcast I wanted to do, you know. I thought about reviewing movies, but everybody does that. Then it was like, I considered music reviews, then video games, then books. But if it was going to be a weekly thing, then there was no way I was going to read a book in a week. Maybe a small book, I don't know. I tend to procrastinate anyway, so it didn't seem feasible. But now since we're in this situation, actually, I could probably read a book in a week now since I was laid off and can't really go anywhere. But this may not be the time for book reviews. Just saying. I still have Netflix. Netflix has an office here, but they also have one in California, so they just abandoned ship like immediately. Google 2. They evacuated by like day 2. HBO is still here, and they're being protected after they made a promise to do more news to keep people informed. Not just John Oliver stuff. I mean, they're doing an actual news show now, hosted by Idina, am I saying that right? Idina Menzel and Timothy Oliphant. I saw a clip on YouTube. It's pretty rough, but they're both very charming. Good banter despite circumstances. Optimism may be important, I'm thinking. My roommate isn't here. When the lockdown hit, he was at his girlfriend's place. So yeah, he's still there. So I have the place to myself. Also, she lives in Queens, but in Jackson Heights, which to this point isn't too bad. He just texted me about an hour ago to tell me to water his ficus and make sure that his comic book collection is cared for. I don't know what he meant by that. I don't know how to care for comic books other than just leaving them alone. That may have been what he was trying to tell me. I didn't ask. What else? I think I got a pretty sweet deal, all things concerned, as far as living environment. Rent's cheap. It's a railroad, so there's lots of space. I should probably clean. I'm not a clean person per se. I'm not a slob, but yeah, this would be the time to get some stuff done, I guess. That's probably what most people are thinking right about now. Oh no, there's a zombie outbreak and it's not a good idea to go outside right now. I could clean. I could read. I could, I don't know, there are options. And I don't know how long this is going to go on. No one does. I get that. But honestly, see, these things are very slow moving, very lumbering. So it would make sense that we, as a community, would be able to kind of do something about it because we outnumber them and we're not slow and we have guns and knives and bats and an army and cops, and maybe this isn't the time to binge watch The Walking Dead. I mean, it's depressing as hell, and I started losing interest during the 5th season. Maybe before that, I can't remember, but it's not a how-to. It's just not. You won't learn anything. You might learn how to keep a TV show going past its prime, but that's only if you're looking to write your own zombie TV series. And even then, don't. The reason we have so many vampire shows and movies is because vampires are fun. You can make them characters. Zombies are slow and dumb, and the only plot you can hope for is running away from them. For 10 seasons, until the zombies take a back seat to how awful humans are, which, well, that was more like season 2. I don't know. It's been a while since I watched it. And they're going to do another season. They're going to do another season, another one. But look at what they're competing against now. Real zombies. What do you do with that? When the thing you do because it's not real becomes real, I mean, where do you go from there? No idea. Things don't make sense right now. Beat that, television. It's your move. Police procedurals with zombies. Okay. It's like Law and Order with zombies. Or other genres. It's like Friends with zombies. It's like Arrested Development with zombies. Sure. I'd watch it, but no, I'm not sure I'd want to watch it because it's happening and I can see zombie fatigue setting in pretty quickly. Just being honest. That is a possibility. That is a ratings killer. Too many zombies. For real. Let's go back to watching vampires in high school trying to deal with bully werewolves and be fine with our choices in entertainment. I have no idea if that's a show or not. I probably wouldn't watch it. I'm pretty sure my go-to right now would be any show that happened before zombies were a real thing. Just putting that out there. So thanks for listening. If you are listening, you may have other things you need to be doing, like hunting for supplies or buying a gun. Could be any number of things. Please feel free to leave a comment in regards to what you're doing to keep yourself safe or sane or whatever. I'll post another episode as soon as I can, because honestly, I don't know how all this is going to unfold, and this gives me something to do. My name is Tad Stitchman, and this has been Still Life with Zombies. Stay safe and indoors until you have no choice, of course. Oh, and like, share, and don't die.